日本時間4月7日、米国時間4月6日、ロサンゼルス、ドジャースはトロントでブルージェイズと対戦。昨季ワールドシリーズ第7戦の再戦となる一戦は、試合前から特別な空気に包まれていた。2025年の激闘を記憶するファンの感情は複雑だ。とりわけ大谷翔平が打席に立つたび、球場には大きなブーイングが響いた。しかしそれは個人への敵意ではなく、あの敗北の象徴への感情の裏返しでもあった。試合は序盤からドジャース打線が主導権を握る。大谷は内野安打で出塁し、相手の失策を誘発。続くフリーマンの本塁打で流れを引き寄せた。さらに中盤には大谷自身も中堅へ豪快な一発を放ち、スタジアムの空気を一変させた。試合後、ロバーツ監督は、この舞台でも選手たちは冷静に戦った、と語り、山本由伸も、どの試合も同じ重みで臨む、と平常心を強調した。過去と現在が交錯する再戦。ドジャースはその中心で、大谷という存在の大きさを改めて示した。
Yeah, it is a World Series rematch time out for MLB Tonight's Same Game Parlay presented by FanDuel. All right, Zach, help me out. Cal Tucker, 2 or more total bases.
I'm buying that.
All right, what about the Dodgers over 4.5?
That wouldn't.
Scherzer's had success against them in his career.
Yeah, I'm thinking Max is going to deliver tonight.
All right, so you're backing away?
I'm about to back away. I don't like that. No, I'm going to
Plus
back
310, I'm all over this. I'm taking it.
Really?
You have to decide who you like more, me or Dan. Hey, MLB fans, FanDuel is inviting you to call your shot with Daily Dinger. Make your free pick on who's hitting a home run in their game. If you're right, you'll get a profit boost the next day. Play your game on FanDuel, the home of home runs. Anytime we get to talk to the great Dan Schulman on the National Pregame Show, that is a home run. He's the voice of the Toronto Blue Jays, and he joins us now. Dan, great to see you. I said this earlier in the show, that when Shohei Ohtani walks up to the plate, the amount of booing in that ballpark will be of epic proportions. I can't imagine how fans in Toronto are looking forward to this series.
Yeah, it's so many different emotions, Greg, and it's so great to be with you guys. As you know, Canadians are really, really nice people, but when they get angry with the best of them. And, you know, if you think back to last October, it's so early in the season, right? I think for a lot of people, it's still an open wound. For a ton of people, there was so much, and there is so much pride in what the Blue Jays did last year. Such a great World Series. They played their hearts out. They took it to extra innings in Game 7. So much to celebrate. But at the same time, there's the heartbreak of what ultimately happened, that they got that close to winning the World Series and couldn't do it. So I'm with you. And when they boo Ohtani, assuming they boo Ohtani, it's not anything negative towards him specifically as a person, obviously, but he is a huge force, the best player in the game, and was a big part of the World Series in so many different ways. I think we're going to see the emotion ebb and flow, positive, negative, joy, sadness, angst. There's going to be I think there will be a lot of emotions in the ballpark here tonight.
Dan, I'm not embarrassed to say that my open wound still hurts. And I can't recall in the history, listen, MLB Network started in 2009. I can't recall 2 more thrilling games than Game 6 and Game 7.
Yep.
And you were blessed enough to call that with Buck Martinez on Sportsnet in Canada. Was it hard to get over those 2 games?
I'll be honest with you. I kind of did it pretty quickly, and I always and continue to lean to the side of what an incredible year they had. They gave everything they had. They exceeded expectations. They all played together as a unit and had the best chemistry and camaraderie of any team I've ever seen. And I still feel that way. So I tried to channel most of my energy, Zach, honestly, in that direction. But yeah, for a couple of days, I'm not going to lie, I thought about 4, 5, 6 different moments and said, you know, if that could have happened or if this could have happened, then they could have won it. And it would have meant so much to millions and millions of people from coast to coast in Canada who follow this team. And I'll be honest with you, as I went doing my winter job doing college basketball, I can't tell you how many people came up to me and said, what an incredible World Series and what a fun team that Blue Jay team was to watch. And they're right on both fronts. I just spoke with Dave Robertson. He was talking about how both teams represented their cities, their franchises, and the sport incredibly well. And that's 100% true. It was a phenomenal World Series. But yes, there is, for anybody who follows this team, there is still a bit of an open wound.
So, Dan, that kind of takes me to my question is, during the World Series, whether it was in L.A., or particularly in Toronto, you can feel the buzz as soon as you start walking to the ballpark. So set the scene for tonight. Is there already a buzz during batting practice, and are people filing in like a World Series crowd?
Right, it's interesting. So way more media than a typical game. Way more people seem, down on the field than a typical game. The gates are open and people are filing in. But I'll be honest, it doesn't feel like October. It feels like a big regular season game. Like I'm looking up and I'm looking at dozens of people in each section. I don't see hundreds of people filing down the rows. Now. Traffic's not great in Toronto. It takes a while to get to the ballpark sometimes, but I don't think it's going to feel like October, to be honest with you. I think it's going to feel like a really big regular season series with a little bit of extra emotion because it is the Dodgers. But on the other hand, a lot of Blue Jay fans are thinking about this team hasn't gotten off to a great start this year, right? They've got a lot of injuries. They're 4-5 when a lot of people thought they'd come home for this series with a much better record. So again, I think there'll be a lot of Dodger memories and emotion in the ballpark. But I think people really just want to see this team look like the team they were last year and win a couple of games.
It's hard for them to look the same without Alejandro Kirk behind the plate. Out 4 to 6 weeks, thumb surgery, left thumb when you're a catcher.
I think it was just more of looking at the schedule and trying to get Dalton in there one game. And I really wanted Will to catch Yamamoto and Shohei. Got in late last night. Dalton hit a homer yesterday, so I felt to get him back in there I thought was a good thing. So it just made sense, and he'll play 2 or 3 this series and 2 or 3 the next series when we get home.
Starting 3 straight righties, but do you think Miggy might get a start, kind of considering what he did in Game 7?
He's getting a start not because of what he did in Game 7. He's getting a start because I want him to play one game. He'll start tomorrow against Gossman.
Switching Yama and Otani in the rotation, is that just to get Shohei before an off day? Is that kind of part of like what you guys are doing, looking for like the extra days of rest in between for him?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it feels obviously a lot of great memories. I think the thing that I feel is I don't feel as much anxiousness as I did the last time we were here, understandably so. So to come back here and the stakes aren't as high as they were in October is different, but I'm sure the players will be ready to go and the fans are going to be pretty excited.
How many times have you watched the Pajes catch?
You see it, different times on the highlights, so I would say probably a dozen times.
World Series catches over the years. You've seen all kinds of them over your career. Where do you put that one in particular?
It's as big of a play in the World Series as you're going to find. It's one of those things where you talk a lot about communication, but in that situation, neither player communicated because they were both selling out. And to come up with that ball, hold on to it, tremendous play.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto certainly deserved all the praise, even the hyperbole after that incredible World Series performance. He returns to the mound at Rogers Center tomorrow. But first, he's today's Dodger Voice, brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa.
Yoshi, you are back where it all happened. What is it like being back here in Rogers Center?
トロントにワールドチャンピオンになってそこに戻ってきたわけですけど、どういう感じですか？少し懐かしさと、また、なんていうんだろうな、またワールドシリーズを思い出すような気持ちもありますし、明日の試合に向けて、気を引き締めているところです。It's a little bit like a nostalgic or sentimental, because looking back that day. But now, because I'm trying to focus on the tomorrow's outing.
What did you learn about yourself and just how you were able to be available and show up for your team on the biggest of stages?
山本さんがそういう大きいゲームとかこういったゲームでその準備できるっていうことのなんか要因っていうのはどういうことですか？どうでしょうね。何が、いい結果につながってるかは分からないですけど、どの試合も、すごく集中して準備してますし。なんていうんだろうな、大きいゲームだから、特別に何かとかは、特になくて、いつもどの試合も、その大きいゲームぐらい、気持ちを込めて、準備してます。
I treat every game just like the same. No matter how important, how big the game is, I just treat that every game as the same. And then just normal games, I just pretend that that's the biggest game in my life. Yeah.
Finished Game 6. Could you have imagined pitching in Game 7, let alone pitching almost 3 innings?
To be honest, because I wasn't really thinking about it the moment I went up in the mound. But as I was getting warmed up in the bullpen, it started getting real.
Throwing your bullpen session today and then starting tomorrow, is it last year good practice for that?
はい、調子もよく準備できてますし、感覚も少し良くなったので、明日はなんとか自信を持ってマウンドに上がりたいなと思います。
I think because the preparation wise, because it's going well, and then actually today I started getting feel better in today's bullpen.
We saw some amazing defensive plays behind you during whether it was Game 7, just the World Series in general. Do you have a favorite one that stands out to you?
いや本当にすごいプレーが何個も出たので、なんていうんだろう、よくパヘスが取ったフライとか、最後のダブルプレーもそうですけど、それ以外にも本当にすごいプレーがもう数えれないほど出た試合だったなと試合を振り返りながら、オフシーズンに思いました。
Yeah, because when I reflecting back, because it's kind of hard to pick only one, because of Page's catch, because he made that play, and then the very last double play, those are great, could come up in my mind, but because it's really hard to pick up one. Yeah.
All right, John, 5 months later, here we are again. Rogers Center in Toronto for a World Series rematch between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays, who played that Game 7 for the ages. The Dodgers took to win it all, and we welcome you inside. Hope your week is off to a great start. Joe Davis, Thor Hershiser, all of baseball looking at this part of the schedule here really early on. A marquee matchup, a World Series rematch.
All of baseball, including the players. One side trying to turn the page from last year and forget about it. The other one comes into Toronto, into this stadium, and goes, I love the energy here. I got great memories.
I know Kirsten Watson has been down on the Dodgers side getting that take.
Yeah, Joe, when you talk to these guys, they really think about all of the emotions they went through last year, especially in that Game 7. Of course, they forced that Game 7. They came in, there was the excitement. Then they're playing from behind. They're crawling back into it, and then the elation and the emotions of hoisting up that trophy. So all positive with coming back into this with those memories. But right now, they are also focused on turning the page, looking at 2026. They understand they set a big goal last year, going back-to-back. But right now, with this return, it feels familiar. Of course, they were not here too long ago, but the focus for them is on this year and how do they find ways to continue with that back-to-back-to-back going for the three-peat, guys.
All right, Kirsten, let's take a look at the pitching for the Dodgers in these 3 games. They'll have Yamamoto and Ohtani the next 2 days. Today, it's Justin Robles, who gained so much confidence against these Jays in the World Series last year.
I look at the Dodger rotation. They've set it up for a rest for a 6 rotation, but you look at the Blue Jays rotation and you look like, I think they knew the Dodgers were coming to town. And these 2 guys, you got the veteran at 41 years old, always looking for inspiration. Well, he has it tonight, looking across the field at the Dodger uniform. And Robleski, think about Game 7 and that intensity and pitching that well.
Jays, about a month and a half ago, one of the best things about them was their starting pitching depth. They had like 8 guys, and the question was, how are you going to find spot in a rotation for all these guys? But it tends to work itself out, and it's jumped the frog on that. Or jumped the shark on that. Dribbled in front of the plate, and a throwaway. Ohtani's going to turn the corner and go to second. More sloppy Blue Jays defense. A lot of that has been the pitchers in their fielding. And so Fleming will fit right in with that.
Definitely an E1 to get to second. Let's see how the official score grades it at the beginning. Shohei gets out of the box in a rapid way, and he might get a hit with that ball arriving near first. They're going to call it a 2-base error.
Hit and an error.
Hit and an error.
Infield stays in. 3-2 comes home. Freeman drills a ball in the air. Right center field. How far will it go? Big man power. Freddie Freeman. Not a question of if, but just distance. And Freddie Freeman way gone to make it 4-1. Heck of an at-bat right there.
Yeah, we're going to get to the crack of the bat because it was special. Fastball near the middle, and he doesn't miss it at all. That's the swing. Here comes the sound.
That was a Shohei sound. It was really good. Shohei ball flight, too, for his 99th as a Dodger. This is second game with the Jays. 1 1/3 scoreless innings in his first. 35 years old from Danville, Virginia. And he's put together quite a career for a guy who's a 27th round draft pick. Ohtani digs it out, sends it in the air, center field. Varsho back. It is gone to center field. Ohtani's third in 4 games on the trip.
Joe, he's a pretty good hitting pitcher.
Yeah.
We'll see him in game 3 on the mound. In game 1 here in Toronto, you get to see this.
「今回も最後までご視聴いただき本当にありがとうございました。動画の内容を楽しんでいただけたでしょうか。もしよろしければチャンネル登録と高評価をお願いいたします。皆さんの応援が今後の動画制作の大きな励みになります。それではまた次回の動画でお会いしましょう。